Ethan was just an ordinary man. He lived on Earth, in a small city full of tall buildings and noisy streets. Every day he woke up early, went to work, and came back tired. He was not rich. He did not have special skills like some people he saw on TV. But Ethan was kind and brave in his own way. One day, Ethan got a chance to go into space. He worked for a company that moved goods between planets. His job was simple: deliver supplies to other space stations. It was not exciting, but he liked the stars and the quiet of space. He dreamed of something bigger, but he never thought it would happen to him. That day, the spaceship Ethan was on flew near the planet called Virelia. Virelia was a beautiful world, with blue skies, green forests, and cities that shone like crystals. People said it was home to the most advanced civilization in the galaxy. The Virelians were tall, with shining skin and eyes like stars. And the most famous person there was Princess Liara. She was known as the most beautiful princess in the galaxy. Everyone admired her. Ethan had never met a Virelian before, but he had heard stories. He was curious but also nervous. His spaceship was just passing by a Virelian spaceport to deliver some goods. Nothing special. Suddenly, alarms started to ring. The ship's captain told everyone to stay calm. But Ethan saw something strange outside the window. A small ship was coming too close to the spaceport. It looked like an attack. Before anyone could react, the small ship fired a beam at a group near the spaceport entrance. People screamed and ran. Ethan could see a tall figure fall. It was the Virelian diplomat, an important leader from the royal family. Without thinking, Ethan ran out of his cabin. The crew was busy securing the ship, but Ethan wanted to help. He grabbed a safety beam and ran toward the danger. The attackers fired again, but Ethan moved quickly. He managed to push the diplomat away from harm. The attackers fled when more guards arrived. The diplomat was safe but shaken. The captain looked at Ethan with surprise. "That was brave of you," said the captain. "You saved a very important person." Ethan did not feel like a hero. He just did what anyone would do. But soon the news spread fast. The Virelian leaders were grateful. They invited Ethan to visit their planet and meet the royal family. This was more than Ethan had ever dreamed. When the spaceship landed on Virelia, Ethan was amazed. The city was like a dream. Tall buildings of shining glass reflected the sunlight. Gardens floated in the air. People moved gracefully, and everywhere Ethan looked he saw beauty and technology he could not understand. A tall Virelian official greeted Ethan. His name was Kalen. He wore a silver robe and had kind eyes. "Welcome to Virelia, Ethan," Kalen said. "Your courage has earned you honor here." Ethan felt small among these proud people, but Kalen's words made him feel important. That evening, Ethan was taken to the royal palace. It was even more beautiful than the city. The walls sparkled and light moved like water. Ethan's heart beat fast. He was about to meet Princess Liara. In the grand hall, Ethan saw her for the first time. Liara stood tall and graceful. Her skin glowed softly, and her eyes shone like twin stars. She wore a dress that seemed made of light itself. Everyone in the room fell silent. Ethan could hardly breathe. Liara smiled at him. Her voice was gentle but strong. "Ethan, we have heard of your bravery. You saved one of our own, and that is not easy for a human." Ethan bowed his head. "I only did what was right, Princess." Liara's eyes studied him. "You are different from the humans we know. You have something special." Whispers spread through the hall. Ethan did not understand everything, but he felt the weight of their gaze. He was no longer just a worker from Earth. He was in the middle of something much bigger. Later, Kalen explained to Ethan that Princess Liara was soon to choose a mate. In Virelian tradition, the princess marries someone worthy who can lead beside her and help their people. Many alien nobles hoped to win her hand, but Liara wanted someone brave, kind, and true. "You may have a chance, Ethan," Kaelin said quietly. But you must be ready. The path will not be easy. Ethan looked at the stars through the palace window. He thought of Earth, his simple life, and now this new world. Fear mixed with hope inside him. Could an ordinary human really win the heart of the most beautiful princess in the galaxy? The answer was waiting in the days to come. Ethan woke early in the royal palace on Virelia. The sunlight came through tall windows and touched everything with golden light. The palace was quiet, but his mind was full of questions. How could he, just an ordinary human, be part of the royal world? Could he really stand beside Princess Liara? He ate breakfast in a small room with a view of the city. Kaelin, the Virelian official, came to meet him. "The princess will see you soon," Kaelin said. "But first, you must understand how things work here." Ethan nodded, listening carefully. In Virelia, the princess chooses her mate through tests. These are not simple games. They show courage, wisdom, and kindness. Many have tried, but few have succeeded. Ethan felt nervous. "And what if I fail?" Kaelin smiled kindly. "Then you learn and try again. But remember, the princess does not want power alone. She wants a partner she can trust." Later that day, Ethan was led into a large hall. The walls were lined with glowing crystals. At the far end stood Princess Liara. She looked calm and proud. "Ethan," she said, "welcome again. You saved my diplomat. That shows courage, but you must prove more." Liara waved her hand, and the hall changed. Suddenly, Ethan was standing in a garden filled with strange plants and sounds. Kaelin explained, "This is your first challenge, the trial of courage." A voice echoed in the air. "Face the dangers here and protect the innocent." Ethan looked around and saw shadows moving. Strange creatures appeared, not like anything on Earth. Some were small but fierce, others large and wild. The first creature lunged at a group of small, glowing animals near Ethan. Without thinking, he grabbed a fallen branch and scared it away. Then he helped the small animals to a safe place. The next challenge was harder. A large creature trapped a young Virelian child in its grasp. Ethan knew he could not fight it with his bare hands, but he used his quick thinking. He found a sharp stone and threw it near the creature's eyes. It released the child and ran away. Liara watched silently. Ethan's heart pounded, but he felt alive. When the trial ended, a soft light surrounded him. He had passed the first test. Back in the hall, Liara smiled. "You showed bravery and kindness. Now comes the trial of wisdom." This time, Ethan faced puzzles and riddles. Alien symbols, strange machines, and codes blocked his path. He was not trained for this, but he did not give up. He used his logic and asked questions. One puzzle was a box that would only open if the right pattern was pressed. Ethan watched carefully and noticed the symbols changed when he touched them. After some tries, he solved the puzzle. Another test was to fix a broken communication device. Ethan carefully studied the parts and connected them the way he thought was right. The device sent a message to Liara, who nodded with approval. Kaelin said, "Your human mind is different. It is simple but clever." Ethan smiled, feeling proud. He did not just survive the trials. He was learning and growing. Not all. The nobles were happy. Some looked at Ethan with scorn. They whispered about a human trying to win the princess. They thought he did not belong. One noble named Rax was loud in his dislike. "A human? How can he compete with us? He is weak and unworthy." Ethan ignored the insults. He knew this was only the beginning. Days passed, and Ethan spent more time with Princess Liara. They talked about their worlds, their hopes, and fears. Liara was different from the stories Ethan had heard. She was strong, but also gentle. She cared deeply for her people. One afternoon, Liara took Ethan to a garden filled with glowing flowers. "Humans are different," she said. "You see the world simply but with heart. That is rare here." Ethan looked at her, surprised. "Why do you want to marry someone like me?" Liara smiled softly. "Because I want a partner who is honest and brave. Not just a title or power. I want someone I can trust." Ethan felt warmth in his chest. For the first time, he believed he might have a place in this galaxy. But danger was growing. The nobles who hated Ethan began to plot. They feared the princess would choose a human, and that meant change. Change threatened their power. Late at night, Ethan found a warning message in his room. It said, "Leave Virilia, or you will regret it." He showed the message to Kaelin, who frowned. "The court is divided," Kaelin said. "Some will try to stop you." Ethan was not afraid. He thought of Princess Liara and the chance he had. He decided to stand strong. The next day, the third challenge began, the trial of heart. This was the hardest. It tested a person's kindness, honesty, and love. Liara explained, "You must help those in need and show that your heart is true." Ethan was sent to the city streets where many people struggled. He helped heal the sick with simple medicine. He knew. He comforted those who were sad. He shared stories and laughter. The people loved him. They called him the human friend. When Ethan returned, Liara's eyes shone with approval. "You have passed all trials so far. But there is one last test," she said. "It is a secret. Only those with courage and love can face it." Ethan did not know what to expect, but he felt ready. He was no longer just an ordinary human. He was part of a new story, a story where courage and kindness could change the galaxy. The days passed quickly in the shining city of Virilia. Ethan's life had changed more than he ever imagined. He was no longer just a human from Earth. He was someone who had captured the attention of Princess Liara and many others. But with the honor came new challenges. Ethan and Liara spent more time together, learning about each other's worlds. Liara showed him the wonders of her planet, the floating gardens, the crystal towers, and the peaceful people who lived there. She was not just beautiful, she was smart and strong. Ethan admired her more each day. "You have a kind heart," Liara told him one afternoon as they walked through a garden that glowed with soft light. "And you do not pretend to be something you are not. That is rare here." Ethan smiled. "I am just a simple man, but I want to do my best." Their conversations grew deeper. Ethan told her stories of Earth, the green forests, the oceans, and the stars. Liara listened carefully, fascinated by a world so different from her own. But not everyone was happy to see their growing bond. The nobles who wanted to control the empire watched Ethan with suspicion and jealousy. Among them was Rax, a proud and cunning alien who believed he should marry the princess instead. Rax met with other nobles in secret halls. "A human? We cannot allow this. He is weak and unworthy. If the princess chooses him, it will ruin us all." Another noble, a tall woman named Vesh, nodded. "We must stop him before it is too late." Their plan was dangerous. They wanted to show that Ethan was not fit to be with the princess by using tricks and lies. They sent spies to follow him and find his weaknesses. One evening, Ethan returned to the palace after visiting a nearby village. He noticed shadows moving near the palace walls. Suddenly, he heard a sound. A trap. Before he could react, he was grabbed from behind. Hands held him tight, and a rough voice hissed, "Leave now, human, or face the consequences." Ethan struggled, but did not panic. He used what he had learned on Earth, calm and quick thinking. He twisted and kicked until his captors released him. Running back to the palace, Ethan warned Kaelin and Liara. "This is more serious than I thought," Kaelin said, frowning. "The nobles fear change, and they will do anything to keep their power." Liara's eyes burned with determination. "We will not let them win. Ethan, you are not alone." Ethan felt a surge of courage. He was no longer afraid. He had the princess's trust, and he believed in himself. The next day, the royal court gathered. Liara announced that she would hold a grand ceremony soon, a final event before she made her choice. The nobles were tense. They watched Ethan closely, hoping he would fail. But Ethan was ready. He had learned much from Liara and the people of Virelia. More importantly, he had grown inside, stronger, wiser, and braver. During the ceremony, Liara introduced a new challenge, a test of loyalty. The princess said, "Those who wish to stand beside me must show they protect the people and the peace of our world." The test was set in the city streets. A group of rebels, angry at the nobles' power, had started to cause trouble. Ethan was sent to help calm the situation. Walking into the crowded market, Ethan saw fear in the eyes of the people. He spoke calmly and kindly, using words that reached their hearts. "I know you want change," he said, "but violence will only hurt us all. Let us find peace together." Slowly, the rebels listened. Ethan's honesty and respect touched them. They agreed to meet with the leaders and find a better way. News of Ethan's success spread quickly. The people cheered for the human who spoke with their hearts. Some nobles had no choice but to admit his strength. But the danger was not gone. That night, Ethan found a secret message hidden in his room. "Stop now, or you will lose everything," it warned. He showed it to Liara and Kaelin. "This fight is bigger than us," Liara said, "but we will face it together." Ethan nodded. He was ready for whatever came next. His simple human heart had become a beacon of hope on a distant world. The palace on Virelia was no longer just a place of beauty and peace. Shadows lurked behind the shining walls. Ethan, once an ordinary human, now found himself in the heart of a dangerous game. The nobles who opposed him were planning a terrible act, a conspiracy that could destroy the royal family and shake the entire galaxy. It began with whispers, secret meetings in dark halls, plans to use forbidden alien technology, weapons that could control minds and cause chaos. Ethan learned about this when Kaelin, the trusted official, took him aside. "There is a group," Kaelin said quietly. "They want to seize power by force. They fear what you represent. A new future, a new alliance." Ethan felt a chill run down his spine. The danger was real, but so was his determination. Princess Liara stood by his side. Her face was serious but calm. "We cannot let them succeed," she said. "You have a gift, Ethan. Your mind, your courage, they are our greatest weapons." The conspirators had already begun. A powerful noble named Rax led the group. He had found an ancient device in the depths of Virelia's old city, a machine that could control the thoughts of others. If used, it could enslave the people and remove the royal family's power forever. Ethan studied the device with Kaelin and the royal scientists. It was strange, unlike anything on Earth. But Ethan's human mind found patterns the others missed. He saw how to disrupt its power, how to use technology and clever thinking to stop it. As the day of the attack approached, Ethan and Liara prepared with their loyal allies. They planned to defend the palace and protect the people. When the attack came, it was sudden and fierce. Shadows moved in the night as soldiers loyal to the conspirators stormed the palace grounds. The mind control device began to hum with power, sending waves of energy to the crowds. But Ethan was ready. Using a small device he had made with the scientists, he created a shield that blocked the mind control waves. The people shook off the strange feelings and stood strong. Liara led the royal guards into battle, her presence inspiring everyone. Ethan fought beside her, using his quick thinking to outsmart the attackers. The battle was long and hard. The palace shook with the sounds of conflict. But in the end, the conspirators were defeated. Rax was captured, and the device was destroyed. The people cheered for Ethan and Liara. They had saved Virelia from darkness. But the victory was not just about fighting. It was about what Ethan had shown the galaxy, that being human was not a weakness. His courage, his mind, and his heart had made a difference. After the battle, the royal court gathered. Liara spoke to the leaders from many planets. "Today we faced a great danger," she said. "But together we are stronger. Ethan has shown us the power of trust and hope. Let this be a new beginning." Ethan looked at Liara. She smiled at him, full of pride and love. His journey was almost complete. Soon the princess would choose her mate. Ethan was no longer the ordinary human he once was. He was a symbol of courage, unity, and a brighter future for all. The grand hall of the royal palace was filled with leaders, nobles, and citizens from all corners of the galaxy. They had come to witness a historic moment, the choice of Princess Liara's mate. The air was thick with excitement and tension. For many, this day was about power and tradition. But for Ethan, it was about hope and love. Ethan stood quietly near the throne. He was no longer just a human from Earth. He was someone who had faced danger, won respect, and shown that courage. And kindness could cross the vast distances between worlds. Princess Liara appeared, radiant as ever. Her eyes scanned the crowd and then rested on Ethan. A soft smile played on her lips. "My friends," she began, her voice clear and strong. "Today I must choose the one who will stand by my side. This is not just about marriage. It is about partnership, trust, and the future of our people." She looked directly at Ethan. "Ethan, you came here as an ordinary human, but you have shown courage in the face of danger, wisdom in difficult times, and kindness to all. You have won my heart." The hall was silent for a moment. Then a wave of whispers spread. Some nobles looked shocked. Others nodded quietly, accepting the princess's choice. Liara raised her hand, and the room fell silent again. To those who doubt, I say this: true strength comes from the heart and mind, not from birth or power. Ethan is that strength. Ethan stepped forward, his heart pounding but his voice steady. "Princess Liara, I am honored beyond words. I never dreamed this could be my life. I promise to stand with you, to protect and support you, and to help build a future where all can live in peace." The ceremony continued with music and light. The two were joined in marriage, a symbol of unity between humans and the Virelian Empire. The people cheered, their voices filling the vast hall. After the ceremony, Ethan and Liara stood on the palace balcony, looking out over the city. Ethan said softly, "I never thought an ordinary man like me could change so much." Liara smiled, taking his hand. "You are no longer ordinary. You are my partner and a symbol of hope for many." In the weeks that followed, Ethan learned more about Virelian culture and his new responsibilities. He met leaders from other planets, worked on peaceful alliances, and helped solve problems with his fresh ideas. The galaxy watched as the human and princess worked together. Their bond inspired others to look beyond differences and embrace unity. Back on Earth, Ethan's story became famous. People realized that humans were not just simple creatures on a small blue planet. They could be brave, clever, and worthy partners in the great universe. Ethan's life had changed forever. He had gone from an ordinary man to a symbol of hope, love, and courage, and the most beautiful princess in the galaxy had chosen him, not for power or riches, but for the heart he carried inside. Together, Ethan and Liara looked to the stars, ready to face the future, hand in hand, united and strong.